What is going on there, YouTube? And welcome back to another comic book video. This is the channel where we sit down and cover different comic book stories from Marvel, DC, and even IDW as well. This time we are going to continue our coverage over Brian Michael Bendis' Daredevil run. This story is shorter than our previous ones, but this time we get to see Matt Murdock aka Daredevil take on the case of the year, the trial of the year, where he has to defend a hero who is guilty for a crime. And so if you like today's comic book video, please leave me a like down below and also subscribe to the channel for more content to come in the near future. But I do hope you enjoy today's comic book video. So this story starts off with two random thugs who are robbing a random store in the middle of the night, where if you have read enough comics, you think this is going to lead to just the main character coming in and stopping these thugs. Except we get a cop who rushes in first and try to stop these thugs who are stealing a TV. Now this cop is a rookie cop who did not wait until backup had arrived before rushing in, and this leads into the thugs and the rookie cop getting into a tussle and the gun goes off, where it leads to the police officer getting shot. But then we see someone jump in to stop these thugs from getting away with the TV and murder as well. And so you had a story give us a couple pages where we see the thugs trying to fight against whoever this mysterious person is. And this part of the story is going to give us the main plot of the story. And we see the thugs throw the TV at our mysterious person and he catches it, but the thugs get away. And right when he was about to go and chase the thugs down, we see more police officers appear and catch our mysterious character holding the TV and the dead officer in front of him. And we learn it is a character named the White Tiger. And right now, these other officers think he is the one behind all of this mess. So give you guys a little bit of information about who in the world is the White Tiger. He was a character that first appeared in Deadly Hands of Kung Fu number 19. His real name is Hector Alaya, but he gets his powers from three elements called the Tiger Amulets. And these amulets came from a group called the Sons of Tiger. But these amulets were discarded by the group, and of course Hector found it. Where if you wear all three, it gives you enhanced abilities, and of course Hector received enhanced abilities. But getting back into the present day, we actually see Daredevil on the rooftop being confronted by Luke Cage and Iron Fist, because we learn White Tiger was arrested after that night and put in jail. Iron Fist and Luke Cage know the White Tiger is innocent, but also the fact that last night was the first time Hector put on the White Tiger outfit in a long time. He must have a special reason why he came out of retirement just to stop those men from stealing from that store. And Luke and Iron Fist want Daredevil to help because he is an amazing lawyer, and plus this could help him with dealing with the fact the world knows that Daredevil is Matt Murdock. Where we jump over to the next day and we see Matt Murdock and Foggy Nelson meeting up with Hector to get the idea of what happened that night and why he put on the outfit. Where Hector tells them he does not know why he did, but he did and felt like he had to. Now Foggy is mad at Matt for one still going around as Daredevil, even though the whole world knows that Matt Murdock and Daredevil are the same person, but also the fact that Matt took a superhero case in the middle of dealing with the Daily Globe problem. This leads into us picking up with Luke Cage and Iron Fist helping out with the case since they care for Hector. When they go to a random house where the thugs we saw earlier in our video were living at. Of course now they don't, except you have Luke Cage and Iron Fist go there because they were hoping to find the thugs, if not at least be able to get some kind of information about where they could be at now. Except apparently the two thugs have left town to get away from the mess they have made, and so this makes it harder for Matt Murdock to win the case. But then you have Matt Murdock meeting up with Hector's wife, where we come to find out the reason why he retired originally because his wife hated him being a hero, risking his life. And she told him if he ever put the outfit on again, it will lead into a divorce for them, except you have Matt tell her that he needs her help to win this case and get her husband out of trouble. After that, the story does jump over to where we see Matt making sure that the jury never been involved in a superhero situation before, because if they have, it can play a part in a decision in the verdict for Hector. Where they all tell Matt they have not, and Matt believes that he is good to go now. And you have the judge also kind of remind both sides that he wants this case process to be simple. And so he tells Matt that he does not want to see superheroes somehow force the jury to change their decision in some way. Also telling Delacourt, the lawyer who is trying to get Hector locked up, that he needs to be careful as well, because they are known to be a shady group. Now we actually get to the beginning of the trial, where you had Delacourt begin to talk about how Hector has to be guilty, just trying to paint an image that Hector went out as White Tiger and tried to rob a random pawn shop, and he was the one who shot and killed the cop. Now we know it wasn't him, but of course no one else does. And so you have Delacourt making it seem like there is no way Hector is innocent. Now Matt Murdock jumps in and gives his speech, where he explains how all the evidence shows that there is no way Hector was the one who shot the cop. No gun residue, and there being a blood splatter that shows more of someone having contact with the dead body, not shooting a person. And so to Matt, it's like, come on y'all, this should be an open and closed case here. Except Delacourt calls up the police officers who caught the White Tiger up to the stand and begins to have them tell their story. Where they go on to tell their story and continue the process of painting Hector as this bad guy who killed a police officer. Even though they did not see anything, they are still trying to make sure that the jury believes them that Hector had to be the one who killed the cop. And you have Matt Murdock go up there and begin to question the cops, where he keeps bringing up facts where you think would help him. There was no gun residue, and somehow you have a dead body in the room that was killed by a gun. And so how come you have not found a trace of gun residue on White Tiger and believe he was the killer? You said there's a blood splatter on White Tiger's clothes, but that can come from something falling into the puddle of blood. Now this leads into a CSI person coming and speaking about the amulet, and you have Matt Murdock question her because the police for a quick second thought maybe the amulet played a hand into the reason why White Tiger was out in the city. And she tells us usually when a crime happens and some kind of relic is involved, they call in Doctor Strange, who knows a lot of different relics in the world. Except this time for the White Tiger case, they did not. And the question is why? Where she explains to Matt, we just felt like this was an open and closed case. This should give Matt something to work with because this making things look worse for the police officers. Now Matt brings in Reed Richards, and the reason why because Reed's knowledge about different things in the world is top level. He is highly respected across the world, and Matt brought him to talk about the life of a superhero and what makes a person become a superhero. Then explains why some heroes wear a mask and the ones who don't. But after Matt has Reed talk about the hero's life, well, Delacourt brings up the factor of heroes who have turned good to bad. And Reed on accident brings up Namor, and that is all Delacourt needed to show the jury that heroes can turn evil and use that to say, look at White Tiger. He is a guy who turned evil, just to have him win this case. Now Matt calls in Doctor Strange to help out, which honestly makes sense because he was supposed to be called when a relic is involved in a case, which he was not. But you also have Matt call in other heroes as well to help him out. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, and Robert Diamond. Now, Robert Diamond is an Easter egg used by Bendis because he was one of the people who was part of the Sons of the Tiger group, where the White Tiger amulet came from. but Matt is trying to show the jury how other heroes know that Hector is an honest man. Now you had Delacourt bring Hector to the stand, and this is where we see Delacourt hit Hector with the low blow by bringing up his marriage, and this is where we learn that Hector and his wife are struggling financially, and it has been hard on their marriage. Delacourt used this as a way to bring up the fact that with them struggling is the reason why White Tiger went out is because he needed money. Because he brings up the fact that maybe Hector and his wife had a fight that night before he went out as White Tiger, and the fight was about money. And Delacourt somehow knows that Hector's wife does not like him being out there as White Tiger, and so he brings up that part as well to paint a picture that Hector's mindset was not in the right place at all because of the fight, and it led to him killing the cop. But getting into the last chapter, we pick up where you have both Matt and Delacourt give their closing statement to hopefully win over the jury. Now Matt is hoping that the jury will have some common sense here with the idea of the evidence and the way Matt questioned all the people who was called to the stand for him to win this case. And Matt is betting a lot here and hoping he will end up winning. Now we pick up moments later and we see Foggy Nelson bringing Matt some lunch while they wait for the final verdict. Now you have Matt tell Foggy that they have lost this case. Matt is using his powers to hear in on what the verdict is going to be. And he hears the jury saying how they are leaning towards saying guilty, and Foggy cannot believe it. But you have Matt tell Foggy that he knew this would happen. Some of the jury lied when Matt asked if they had any past experiences with superheroes. Some of them had, and some other family members are locked up because of a superhero. And there's already a news team outside getting ready to release a piece that will destroy Hector all over TV. This is where we jump a couple hours later, and we pick up with Matt, Foggy, and Hector, and they are waiting for the verdict from the jury, where Matt overheard is correct about what the jury is going to do. They declare that Hector is guilty. And this is just hard for Hector to hear. To him, his life is ruined. And even though you have Foggy and Matt try to talk to him about how they can still fight this, his mind is thinking about him and his wife, the fact that he ruined their lives. And so this leads up to him fighting police officers and whoever else in the courtroom, because his mindset is he is going to escape the courtroom. Matt and Foggy try to calm him down, but they can't. And Foggy has to tell Matt not to do anything because they are trying to make the world believe that he is not Daredevil. And so they have to just sit there and watch to see how this will end, where a gun falls on the ground and Hector takes it and leaves because he is going to use the gun as a way to help him escape the courthouse. Except when Hector gets outside, he sees a bunch of police officers, news reporters, and random citizens outside. And so he just freezes, and he knows that he is not going to make it through all of them, except the back of his mind is telling him to try, that maybe you can make it. And so he pulls up the gun, and as soon as he does that, he is shot down by all of the police officers, and that is the death of Hector, aka the White Tiger. To close off this story, we pick up with one of the two guys from the beginning of our video. One of the guys who actually shot the police officer that led to this mess in the first place, where he watched the news about what happened to Hector. And we can see he is feeling guilty about it. His actions led to the death of a man who was trying to do good for the world. And you have Daredevil actually find this guy and tell him to make it right. If you feel guilty for what you did because now a man is dead, go and make it right. Which the guy does, and that is the end of this story. And so guys, please leave me a like down below and also subscribe to my channel for more content to come in the near future. Also, any suggestions on books I should read, please let me know in the comments below, because you never know, your suggestion could be a future video down the road. But guys, I'm out of here, and I will see you on the next comic book video. Later, guys.